oggi l'ospite è internazionale, signori, e non abbiamo la possibilità di averlo qui in studio perché appunto non abita proprio vicinissimo a Sesto San Giovanni, però io ho avuto la possibilità di lavorarci il weekend scorso, non questo qua appena passato, ma quello ancora prima, il motivo per cui poi ho bigiato il giorno dopo, perché c'era questo evento a Parigi che si chiama Paris Audio Video Show, anzi Paris Audio Video Show, una specie di piccola fiera di strumenti musicali, non era piccola, però diciamo è un mini NEM, e c'erano un sacco di cose, vari strumenti, c'erano anche DJ che comunque hanno anche fin troppo spazio, oserei dire, nel mondo degli strumenti musicali, sto scherzando ovviamente, e c'era un bellissimo stand Ibanez, e Ibanez ha portato niente po' di meno che Tom Quayle,
ragazzi, il britannico,
che è un super chitarrista inglese, veramente un super virtuoso della fusion, spettacolare, uno degli artisti di punta, oserei dire, di Ibanez,
tra l'altro,
figlio d'arte,
perché
assolutamente, ma poi ci spiegherà lui tutto quanto, perché una sera ci siamo messi nella hall dell'hotel, e lo capirete perché ogni tanto arrivava qualcuno a fare il check-in e si sente un po' starnazzare dietro. Ho cercato un po' di isolare le voci. Bando alle ciance e andiamo subito a vedere che cosa ci ha detto il mitico Tom Quayle.
Vai.
Prego.
Per una music show che c'è in questo weekend, e per cui ho preso al volo l'occasione per accaparrarmelo e fare una bella intervista come si deve per il nostro Te la spacco quella chitarra. Per cui, welcome Tom.
Thank you
It's
very
such
much.
a pleasure having you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, today we've been overwhelmed by your great performance
thank
at
you.
the Paris Audio Video Show.
Yeah, it's
It was
good fun.
really a great pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being part of Te la spacco quella chitarra. I'm gonna smash you that guitar.
That's hilarious. Great name.
So, of course, we are very curious about knowing how and why did you start playing guitar?
Yeah, my dad is an incredible guitar player.
Uh-huh.
He'd been playing since I was, really tiny. And my parents ran folk clubs when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And so we had English folk music being played all the time in the house. But my dad is also, basically sounds very much like Tommy Emmanuel.
Uh-huh.
So he's that kind of acoustic player. So I was hearing very high-end guitar playing from a very young age. And that, plus being into some punk bands, there's a band from the UK called the Wild Hearts, from Newcastle. I was really into the Wild Hearts. I was kind of starting to listen to Iron Maiden and Metallica a little bit.
Okay.
And I'd shown an interest in guitar, but never really done that much with it. And then my dad bought me an Ibanez RG 450
Yes.
in black. It was perfect, and I just fell in love with it and became genuinely obsessed. Like a lot of people of my generation,
Yes.
we became obsessed with, all the different aspects of guitar playing. I practiced my technique. I listened to Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Dream Theater,
Yes.
all the usual people, nothing unusual.
Yes.
And the big thing that really helped me was there was a magazine in the UK called Guitar Techniques magazine,
Yes.
which a lot of guys out there will know, like Guthrie Govan was writing for that magazine.
Uh-huh.
Jamie Humphries, Dave Kilminster, who now plays with brain failure, with the guy from
Pink Floyd.
Yes. Why have I got brain failure? Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yes.
And yeah, that magazine was really influential in my development as a guitar player. And what I used to do was I would buy the CDs of the albums that I wanted to listen to, and then I would get the tab book that matched the CD.
Oh, yeah.
So starting with Passion and Warfare,
Yes. Okay.
The Extremist and all of those kind of albums, and I would consume the entire book and
Wow.
stuff. So it turned into a session, basically.
Okay. So actually, you got close to guitar first and to acoustic guitar.
Yes.
Thanks to your father.
Yeah.
And
But I
then-
never played acoustic guitar.
So we can say the first influence you had was actually your father.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, he still is a very big influence in my life as far as guitar goes.
Uh-huh.
Because it was an introduction to what was possible on the instrument, not just strumming. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all. But
Yes.
Not just strumming songs,
Yes.
It was very technical guitar playing from a very young age. So that
Okay.
to me was the standard that I'd seen someone in my life very close to me get to. So that seemed like an approachable goal.
Uh-huh.
Very different, of course, because I
Yes.
wasn't playing acoustic, but the technical side of guitar was already something I'd been exposed to before I even listened to Steve Vai, Dream Theater,
Okay,
Joe Satriani.
okay.
So it was in there already.
So what age did you actually start playing guitar?
15.
15.
So 1995, and now you're on the whole now.
So yeah, the calculation.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, 1995, 15 years old, and I remember very clearly we went to quite a famous music store in the UK,
Yeah.
Music Ground, which people out there who've been to London might know Denmark Street, which is the famous guitar store street
Yeah.
in London. And Music Ground started in Denmark Street, and then there was a shop that opened up in my hometown in Leeds, and they had a lot of vintage guitars, and then a small row of Ibanez guitars, all RGs at the time, because that was what was available. And I must have shown an interest, particularly in this RG 450.
Yeah.
And my dad, being my dad, he wanted to surprise me. Somehow, I cannot remember how he did this, but he sneaked the guitar from the shop into the car without me noticing.
Oh,
which
wow.
is some kind of crazy magic trick.
Wizard.
I don't know. Yeah, it's very appropriate. Wizard,
Yeah.
wizard. But he, when we got home, he presented me with this guitar, and my life changed
Oh,
forever.
that's great, actually.
Yeah, one of those seminal moments in your life. Yeah.
So I guess your parents never told you, I'm gonna smash you that guitar, because they ever supported you as a
Well,
guitar player.
yes. So this was the amazing thing. So my dad's a veterinary surgeon, obviously retired now. My mum was what we would term a housewife in the UK. She brought us up, but she also is she's a poet who's been published.
Wow.
So very artistic. She's an incredible singer. Everyone in my family plays guitar, so music was a big deal in my house. And artistic pursuits were a big deal, but also my parents were very grounded, and they wanted us all to have backup plans, as
Yes.
they're saying. So originally, moving forwards in time, I was going to do a biology degree. I was interested, my dad was a veterinary surgeon. Again, big influence on me. I wanted to do a science degree of some description. And I'd been playing for 3 years at this point, and I just thought, I can't do this. This is not me. This is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I then switched and said, okay, I want to do a jazz degree. Because jazz was the way of being, apart from doing classical music, it was the way of being most academic with it. And of course, you could then have the backup of having a degree, some kind of postgraduate qualification. And that made sense to me. And, I then went and studied for 3 years doing jazz. And that was the backup plan, because if I needed it, I had a degree and I could actually go and say to an employer, I have a degree, I'm educated to that level.
Yes. Okay.
My music career has not worked out, can you give me a job?
Okay,
So that was
yes.
the backup plan. But they were very sensible with it, but they've always supported me hugely throughout my entire career, and even when I was younger. And I was struggling to pay bills, and I was struggling generally, doing sort of residency gigs and not really making a lot of money. They were very supportive, so they understood what this meant to be. And, that's exactly the way I would be myself with my kids and so on and so forth. If they wanted to do guitar or pursue any kind of artistic pursuit, I wouldn't stop.
Cool.
It's important.
Cool. So, did you start playing professionally thanks to live gigs, or with your online videos and?
So so my career went. I graduated from jazz college and started doing a duo residency gig. And that earned a reasonable amount of money, and I was doing a few jazz gigs here and there, but couldn't really make a living at it. It was very difficult to make enough money just doing that. So I ended up doing what a lot of people do, and I was teaching.
Yes.
So I was teaching at a local college, and I was teaching at schools, and I was running workshops for adults, but it wasn't high-level teaching at that point. It was mostly, because that's where the market is, mostly beginners and intermediate players.
Yes.
And then I started teaching online, because that became a big deal.
Yes.
So that enabled me to teach at a higher level. And then YouTube came around in 2006, and MySpace and Facebook.
Yes.
And then uploading videos, and that's where things really started to, for a lot of guys my age.
And you have been a lot into technology, so being
Hugely
ready
so.
to embrace a new
I
way to communicate.
Still am obsessed with technology. As we've discussed, I make apps, and I'm really into the technical side of music, and the technical side, just generally technology, computers, I build amplifiers, so on and so forth. So that is a big part of my brain. So I'm always, historically anyway, I've always been looking for the next avenue of potentially earning money. Not for money's sake, but just because I find it interesting, and the money is obviously very useful. So I ended up doing a lot of online videos just because it was fun. And back then there were no production values. I had one of those plastic white MacBooks, 13-inch MacBook, with like a 480p webcam in it. Like, it was grainy, it was horrible.
Yes.
And I used to sit on my bed and I would play whatever I was going to play, do some improvisation. There wasn't anything planned. You'd just press record and go. And those videos got a lot of traction. Back in those days, it wasn't as saturated as it is now. There weren't so many people, so you got a lot of views. And
So you went on the map since then.
yeah, exactly. Internationally, of course, which is the way that goes online. And so 2 years later, I entered Guitar Idol, which was the big competition.
Okay, yes.
Which was an international competition, and played in the final live at the London Guitar Centre, which is why I was telling you earlier about opening for Influenti.
Oh,
which is
yeah,
kind of cool. And that led to a lick library deal. The which was a tuition DVD production.
Yes.
And that then launched my platform even more because they were selling my tuition DVDs. And my original tuition DVD, which was called Rock to Fusion,
Yes.
so aimed at rock players who wanted to get more into playing out changes,
Yes.
time fields, and jazz elements, did really, really well. And so that then, I guess, got my name out in the teaching community as far as internationally people buying that DVD. And it just kind of spiraled from there. When I started launching my own courses online, I think I was one of the first people to do that online. They just went crazy. And that has supported me primarily for the last 12 years.
Okay.
That's been my main source of income and the main thing that I do. And obviously to supplement that as well, clinic tours, masterclasses,
Yes.
going and playing with various people.
Cool.
That's been the bottom of my career.
And when you joined Ibanez and then Lenny Amps as well as an artist and an endorser, you started doing many clinics worldwide. Okay, so that enlarged even more your job opportunities.
Exactly.
I guess.
Yeah.
So where have you been so far for these two brands?
Oh, all over the world. So Martin Miller and I, who's my partner in crime, we do a lot of clinics together. We do some separately, obviously, but a lot of our stuff is together because we have this quite unique duo thing that we do.
Yeah.
Where we play jazz standards and pop songs in our way.
Yes.
As a guitar duo, everything's improvised. So unlike a normal clinic where you go and people play to backing tracks, which is fine. That's
Yes,
great.
absolutely.
That's the history of guitar playing.
Yeah.
That's the way it
Yeah,
goes.
you're right.
We sit down, it's different every single night.
Yeah.
We are improvising everything except the melodies, and so it's a very interactive show. It's like a gig,
Yes.
opposed to a clinic. And so that's been all over the world at this point. We've been to Southeast Asia, we've been across to Japan, we've been up in China, and I've played in America quite a lot, and then down in South America, all over Europe as well. So that really has taken us all over the world, which has been an extraordinary experience.
Yeah, it is.
2018, when the AZ launched originally,
Yes.
we did the biggest Ibanez tour in history. So it really was, an amazing, amazing experience, and we've met so many. I mean, in fact, that's how I met you.
Yeah.
I'm doing those kind of
Yeah, of
clinic tours.
course.
So it's an amazing experience and something I will value and treasure for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's great.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Il buon Tom Quayle.
Bravo,
Veramente
bravo,
notevole,
bravo.
anche molto interessanti le cose che ci ha detto, che ci ha raccontato.
Figlio d'arte,
sì.
respirato musica,
Cioè, mi nasci con in casa una specie di Tommy Emmanuel, per cui
e la
della
mamma,
serie.
è la mamma poetessa,
Cantante, insomma, vabbè.
Cioè, per cui arte
A manetta, sì.
nella famiglia, per forza che poi viene.
E lui ha messo a frutto molto bene questa
Assolutamente,
ispirazione,
assolutamente.
veramente.
Ed
Ed
è
è stato,
fortuna,
è stato ovviamente un piacere averci a che fare, lavorarci e vedere
Però comunque
a
non
un metro uno
non
che
l'hanno
suona
mai
così.
minacciato di spaccargli una chitarra.
No, assolutamente, questa è un'ottima
Ci ha
cosa.
dato- ci ha spezzato subito.
Ci pensa da solo.
Però gli è
infatti,
piaciuto il titolo,
della nostra trasmissione.
trasmissione.
A rompere le chitarre ci pensa da solo perché mi ricordo qualche mese fa aveva partecipato a un campus che fanno sul lago di Garda ogni anno, organizzato dalla MFA Music Academy, che è una scuola in zona Brianza, e si era dimenticato di chiudere la zip della borsa della chitarra, per cui la chitarra
è scivolata fuori.
sì, si è un po' anche.
E se che è uno che conosce anche te, gli è successa una cosa del genere, si è staccata la cinghia e è volata giù la Paul e si è spaccata una chiavetta.
Accidenti.
Un mesetto fa.
Uno che conosco,
Sì,
che è
uno
molto
che
vicino a me,
conosci,
sarà a
sì.
mezzo metro da me
Sì.
questa persona, ho capito.
Okay, this is the part we call job tools,
Yes.
guitar tools. So you have your great signature Ibanez guitar, so we want to know everything about it.
Okay.
So when you started playing the AZ, and then which Peter did you choose to create this instrument?
Yeah, so the AZ came about, or came to me in 2017.
Okay.
I think they were quite far through the project and they were really collaborating with players, which was quite new at the time.
Yes.
A brand new range of guitars for Ibanez, which is a rare thing, as you guys know. And they collaborated with a whole range of different players on what would make the guitar perfect for what we call players. So guys who guitar players are interested in, aspire to play like. So the AZ launched in, I think it was NAMM 2018.
Yes.
I think. And my first signature model, the TQM1, launched at that show as one of the flagship models in that range. And this is the TQM2, and it's a variation on the original TQM1.
Yes.
So the TQM1 was a very natural looking guitar. It was all kind of natural wood finish, and it had what's called monkey pod as the top, which is a really weird sounding wood,
Yeah.
but it's a really interesting wood. It's like Carina.
Yes.
And every single top is a different, it looks different, all the figuring is different, and that ended up being kind of the basis on which this was kind of designed. Of course, it's the same body shape, the same general specs. But what I wanted with this was, I wanted a matte finish, not a gloss finish, because when you're playing on stage a lot and it's hot, and we did lots of tours in Southeast Asia and South America where it gets very humid.
Yes.
It's you stick to the instrument.
I totally agree.
And there's something about, with the AZs, they have a beautiful kind of satin finish on the neck.
Yes.
And to me, I wanted that to extend through to the body.
Yeah.
So the feel was the same for both hands and arms. So that's the first thing, it's matte. The second thing is, I went back to, and I say back to because I had guitars in the past that were like this, a flame maple top.
Yes.
So it's a big chunk of flame maple on top of an older body.
Okay.
So that is almost the same combination, but instead of having the monkey pod, it's now flame maple. And what we've done is it's flame maple with scraped binding all the way around, which is very pretty. So the flame extends through this.
Yes.
And it keeps some of the natural vibe from the TQM1.
Right.
So it's natural on the back, as the previous guitar, and then we have this flame scraped maple binding, and basically an abalone not abalone, the kind of binding extends around the front.
Yes. Yes.
And then the abalone is on the inlays on the fretboard, and then this took some persuasion to get them to do this. Because obviously the more abalone you add into the guitar, the more expensive it is.
I know.
But I just thought this would be
It's
the
so
coolest thing
elegant,
ever.
it's classy, it is.
And it looks amazing. So they agreed to that in the end, and it looks fantastic.
Cool.
We've got a rosewood fretboard.
Is it compound radius?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like ACN.
Exactly.
Like that, it was available.
So this is sort of a hybrid, really, because the AZNs have the same bridge, but it's not routed out behind.
Yes.
It's fixed. You can have it float, but the point is that it's fixed, and then you can go down and you get more sustain. But I actually like a bridge where you can do some fluttering.
Floating one, yes.
Totally floating. So this has the AZN compound radius.
Okay, so
obviously the same.
9.5 to 12?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Really comfortable, really comfortable down here for chords, and you never fret out. Big stainless steel jumbo frets, just like the original AZ, and then the routed out.
The cavity bridge.
For the bridge. So you can do your upward kind of tremolo stuff, and you can also flutter and all of that kind of thing. Because now and again, I do like to do all of those trem kind of tricks. And also, what I found was, because my TQM S1, which is the single cut version, that's not set to float, and I like to do the vibrato that goes up and down with the bar, and I do that a lot. And I'll flick the bar to do the flutters as well. So that mostly the changes were aesthetic. The biggest actual change to the guitar is the pickups. So all the AZs originally were using Hyperions, which were a kind of like a sort of flat sounding, very inoffensive, good for every genre kind of pickup. And they're great. They were really nice.
More personality.
They need exactly. So these, the guys from Ibanez built me a Japanese custom shop guitar quite a few years ago, and the pickups in there were some bare knuckles, which I really liked. So we've kind of taken the essence of those pickups, and the essence was really that they were much lower output.
Okay.
And you guys will probably know that when you have lower output pickups, the sort of benefit you get to that is you get more dynamic range.
Yes.
And more kind of pick attack is like
That's
you've got more control.
And they actually introduced the Fortuna that are lower output to the Hyperion.
And that was probably what was going on in my mind. So they've done this with the Fortunas, and they put those on the AZNs. But we wanted, Ibanez voiced, I think it was 3 or 4 sets of pickups for me, and set them across on various guitars, all AZNs actually.
Yeah.
And I tested all the pickups, and the ones I chose were the lowest output. Now, I didn't actually know which ones. We didn't kind of spoil things by saying, these ones are this output, these ones are a higher output, whatever. It was a blind test. They all looked the same, and I just happened to choose the ones with the lowest output. So, although they don't drive the front end as much, they've got so much more dynamic range, and when you roll the volume down, they clean up so much nicer.
So these are Ibanez pickups.
Yeah, they're Ibanez pickups. Now, the other thing that people are really surprised about is these are actually ceramic magnets.
Oh, yeah.
So people are always talking about ceramic versus Alnico. And I think people see ceramics as being like a cheap alternative to Alnico 5s or 4s. These ceramic single coils in particular are so dynamic, and they clean up so beautifully. And even really complex chords, they sing through, and you can hear every single note. And then the bridge humbucker has got this throatiness, which is just, it cuts with the mid-range really nicely. So I just don't think the ceramic thing is anything to worry about. You go online and look on forums, there's people arguing, you know what people are like online. But actually what happens is a lot of people find with some of the old kind of Strat pickups that they really like the ceramic single coils. So I kind of urge you guys to, don't judge ceramic magnets before you've actually tried or listened to them. They sound really, really good. And the other thing with it being in-house Ibanez pickups is if you're using pickups from third party, the price of the guitar just goes through the roof.
Absolutely.
So you then have the option, if these are not right for you, you can change them.
Ibanez has quite an experience producing pickups, especially for series like the Q series. Yeah. They're really great sounding.
Well, the Super 58s that are in the Matheny model, and I think the George Benson mini humbucker is there. Now, they've got loads of experience producing pickups, and it's not something I think people are massively aware of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they really know what they're doing, and they've voiced these absolutely beautifully. And actually, most people, well, everyone who I've had feedback from this guitar on has said they really love the pickups in comparison to the higher output AZs that are on the market. So it's been a big success in that regard. So yeah, very, very nice. It's still got all the same switching system.
And the dynamics as well.
Dynamics, all the 9 positions. So nothing's changed there because that is genuinely useful. So for example, in the neck position, flicking the switch up to give you these two together.
Sounds like a humbucker. Exactly. Way better.
So you've got the best of
both. Yeah.
And you actually get a little bit more clarity because you've got the coil is moved over into the middle. So it's
that's my favorite position with the auto switch. That one is really dramatically different.
Absolutely. Cool. Yeah, it's a really, really nice feature. But other than that, it's essentially, same locking tuners, the same nut. Nothing else has really changed because Ibanez got on a winning formula.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just look at the player roster they've got playing AZs and you can see it is very, very liked, successful, I should say loved, successful guitar. So there's not a lot to change on it really. Yeah, right. It's great, 22 frets, the same kind of thing. So yeah, it just works. It's really, really cool. I love it.
Very nice. So Tom, you told you still have and had an intense teaching activity.
Yeah.
So you actually produce and publish many methods.
Yes.
Paper method and unpaper method. Yeah. So let's start from the very beginning. Which one was your first release?
It's hard to remember at this point, but I think so. There was a lot of stuff for Lick Library at first, so I was producing DVDs. Like I did the Rock to Fusion. There were things about legato, jazz theory. I did a big Steely Dan DVD where I taught like multiple Steely Dan songs. Became very obsessed about the tone and the background being perfect. So there was that side of things, and then my own side of things. I have been selling for a long time legato packages. So I have 3 packages that take people through my particular approach to legato.
Are we talking about online courses?
Yeah, okay. So they're basically video packages that I put together quite a few years ago, and people download them, and they're not streaming, they're not subscription-based things. You don't have a subscription website. You buy it and you own it.
Yeah.
So there's 3 legato ones on there. There's a big practice session for legato as well called the Ultimate Legato Practice Toolkit. And then the other big one, there are other lessons like melodic minor, harmony lessons on diminished scale, so all of those kind of things. But the really big one that a lot of people talk to me about is the visualizing the fretboard side of things. Using small interval shapes to visualize the fretboard. So the smallest possible shapes that you can produce on the guitar, and then combining those so that you don't have to think about these giant scale shapes, which I think a lot of people find hard to manipulate and think about in real time, especially when you're playing over chord changes. So this was like the start of delivering my approach to visualizing the instrument. And that then has led to the production of the app Solo, which we launched in 2021, at the beginning, January 2021. So that took a year to develop, and that's with my software company that I run with my business partner, David Beebe and Mike Patti, who's the developer. And we released it in 2021, and it went straight to #1 in the music app store charts on iOS, on iPhones. And it's been in the charts ever since. 5 years later, it's still 4 years later now, it's still there. And it's been a big success in terms of, helping people to visualize the fretboard. So what it does is it presents to you a series of chords or a scale, and it asks you to find particular intervals based on those chords. So it might ask you to, C major 7, find the 3rd, find the 5th, find the 7th, and it understands what you're playing and listens to what you're playing. And it tells you whether you've got the note right or wrong. So it's listening and understanding all the time. And we then developed a version 2, which has an interval trainer, which shows you where the intervals are on the guitar. And when I say intervals, what I mean is like the fifth of the chord or the third of the chord.
Yes.
Not like a perfect fifth interval.
Yeah, okay.
Where is the third of this chord? Where is the seventh of this scale?
So playing even also on changes.
Yes, all through changes. So we have
Yeah.
a whole bunch of jazz standards in there and some other kind of tunes with changes in, pop tunes with changes in. You can actually put your own chord changes in as well. And people use it to visualize, their way around the fretboard and learn how to think in chord tones and extensions, basically all over the fretboard. So that, as I say, was released in 2021, and then we put together a course that goes with that app, which again has been really successful. So that was the Ultimate Fretboard Visualization course.
And this course is on your website.
So you can get to it on the website, and that's a streaming course that we put together. It's about 7 hours long. It's a big course, and you use it with Solo, the app, to develop your skills.
Okay.
It's laid out in a very logical way. So that was that got released in 2023, I think. And then just recently, I've released another app, which is called Metric Flow, which is my own app at this point.
That you develop even software-wise.
Yeah, that's my app. Yeah. So, and that is a rhythmic vocabulary generator. So it develops rhythms, or it generates randomly generated rhythms for you to play in various different time signatures, and it can superimpose time signatures on top of each other. So you could have a rhythm in 5/8 over the top of 4/4, and it will play back the rhythm in relation to 4/4. And you can manipulate those rhythms. So you can push them forward in the bar by a 16th note each time, or you can cycle them round, and it will play it back to you, and you can save the rhythms. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in there, basically. I wanted it to exist because part of being a good improviser is being able to come up with interesting rhythmic vocabulary and interesting rhythmic ideas on the fly. And a great way to practice that is to constantly be playing different rhythms in each time signature that you're playing, and trying to get as good as possible at being creative with them. So that's the idea with this app. It will do the work of generating the rhythm for you, and then when you want to manipulate it in the bar, move it around and play with the rhythms, it will do that for you as well.
Yeah.
So it's constantly reinforcing your ear as to what these rhythms sound like, and then you improvise with them. And one of the really cool things I put in there is that you can take those rhythms and you can export them out as audio files, and they're perfect loops. So you then put them in your DAW, like Cubase, Logic, Studio One, Reaper, whatever.
Yeah.
And they will sit, and you can loop them round over backing tracks, or you could write riffs with them. So you could put a complicated rhythm together in 11/8 if you wanted to, or in 7/4, whatever, and then use that as inspiration to write a riff, just assign notes to that rhythm, and combine those rhythms into interesting riffs. So there's all sorts of ways you can practice with it. And again, that came out and it's gone straight to #1, and people have really enjoyed it.
Wow, great.
Yeah, it's and we do Trio Software, my software company that again run with David Beebe and Mike Patty. We have another app coming out in January as well, which is an ear training based app, but it's completely different to anything you'll have seen before.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell you anything else,
Of course,
because they'll kill me if I do.
Yeah.
But it is totally unique.
Well, we can't wait to discover what you guys.
Yeah, we've been working on it for a long time, well over a year, and we're very excited to release it. So.
That's great. And all of that is a great example of, in 2025, a guitar player, but I would say a musician, could actually make a living, putting together all the experience on technology, on teaching, on knowing theory, and of course performing around, and all together you can sustain your life as a musician.
I mean, this is it.
These days.
I'm kind of very much a product of 2025 in that I don't release lots and lots of albums. I don't, go touring my own music, but from an educational point of view, and then doing clinics and masterclasses and teaching. The world is your oyster now. If you have the ingenuity to use the tools that are available to you, there are people out there who will be interested in what you do.
Yeah.
And if you are passionate about it and you really care about it, then people will be interested in it. So, and now it's been this way for a while, but now your audience is no longer just the people in your hometown.
Yes.
It's potentially everywhere, all over the world.
Yeah.
And, it's an amazing time to be a musician because the opportunities available to you are huge,
Yeah.
I think people can be scared of technology, but it's out there to help you and investigate it.
Yeah, I agree.
There's lots to be learned.
So Tom, thank you so much for being with us at Te la spacco con la chitarra. We're gonna send you the T-shirt of the show.
Yes,
at
amazing.
home.
That's
You're
awesome.
gonna get it, okay?
Awesome.
So
That's great.
thank you very
My
much.
pleasure. Thank you.
Great.
Cheers.
Ciao ragazzi.
Ciao.
Ma quante ne sa Tom Quayle?
Applicazioni legato.
Esatto.
Metodo solo, aspetta,
quello per la ritmica, per l'app è solo, poi quella per la ritmica, metric flow,
dove puoi mischiare i pattern di diversi tempi.
Sviluppata interamente da lui anche a livello software, veramente un cervellone clamoroso, è uno scienziato praticamente. No, è stata veramente una bellissima esperienza. Mi spiace Joe che ero lì solo con lui, non eravamo insieme a intervistarlo.
Però hai reso un grande servizio.
Un servizio alla comunità chitarristica.